Alright, so the tiger story is that when I was growing up, so you know how like when you have weird things happen but you're a young child, like you don't see them as weird, they're just like a part of the natural course of things, and then later you realize that it's weird. Like, I went and I had dinner, or actually lunch, with an old friend from way back then, and she looked at me and she was like, "Do you remember the tigers that were, like, in your backyard?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that was weird." You know, that kind of thing. You realize in retrospect just that things are really strange. But, so, there was a animal farm in behind my backyard, essentially. We did not own it. Some old folks owned it, and the closest animals we had to us were the emus, and I would go back out there and the emus would scream at me, and then I would scream back. And this is going in the video now. The emus would scream at me, I would scream back, and I know Judd knows this because I know about the Great Emu Wars in Australia. But emus, when they're angry and screaming at you, they yell like a demon coming out of hell, you know? Things like that. But also, like, when we went to sleep, there would be lions roaring, things like this. And eventually, as it turned out, there was a... what are we going to go at next? I'm not doing those two. This one, I think, will be it. But, so, the next thing
it's magic.
Thank you for the 500 bits credit. Appreciate it, man. Let me put a little hype in there for you. But so, as it turned out, like, a Siberian tiger bit a, like, 6-year-old girl who was there to try to study the tigers for a, like... Oops. To study the tigers to make a school report about it. It was like 6 or 8-year-old or something. I don't know. But the tiger bit her and like picked her up. And apparently what had happened is that they had gone there for the school trip, and the owner said that they would be able to like get a close look at the tiger, and they took her back despite the mother being like really anxious about it, cautious about it, and the tiger like got out of its cage a little bit and bit the girl. And she had to be like, her mother like pulled her in part from the tiger's mouth, picked her up, took her to where there was cell phone reception because there wasn't there, and this was back in like the 90s. But you know, eventually had to, like, got out there, called the hospital, the Mail 1 helicopter had to come and pick the girl up as she, I think they met in the town nearby. They didn't get all the way to where they were trying to go. But, so they had to, like, test, yeah, I know, right, Lord? So they had to test the tiger to check if it had rabies, because, you know, like, you don't, so, like, you kill the animal when you test to check for rabies, but if you give the rabies vaccine or whatever to a child especially, I guess, there's a good chance you kill them. Like, there's a good chance it fixes it, but there's a good chance you kill them. They took it back into the cage. But, so, they had to send the tiger in, and since this was a Siberian tiger, it was like $200,000, maybe more, and they had it illegally, as a reminder. And so they sent in a different tiger. And the people who tested it were like, this ain't the right fucking tiger. And so they sent in the real tiger, and it turned out it didn't have rabies. And like the public kind of hated the girl and the mother and blamed them, and it was kind of like really bullshit and stuff, but it was a thing that happened. And oh, it wasn't a school trip, it was the girl and her mother went there to visit, and everybody like thought it was legal, and the cops just like kind of looked the other way and didn't check into it. But anyhow, so the culmination of the story is that the girl lived, everybody hated the mother and the girl for a while afterwards, until it turned out the animal farm was illegal, that that when everybody found out it was illegal, and now the owners have been in jail for like 10 years, and they've got like lifetime sentences, multiple each, I think. But the worst thing that happened was they got the tiger body back after finding out it didn't have rabies. And I don't remember like which tiger body it was. It was probably the Siberian, whose name was Como, and like was friendly, etc., all that. And they took the tiger's organs and they put them in a plastic bag, and they put them in the mailbox of the mother. And that's the end of that story.